Elon Musk's bodyguard is fired after 15 years. You won't believe what Elon did next. 15 years is a long time to dedicate to someone else's life, dreams, and safety. For Michael Keene, a former Navy SEAL turned personal security expert, it was more than just a career. It was a calling. Michael had been Elon Musk's chief bodyguard for a decade and a half. He had started protecting Musk when Tesla was still a fledgling company struggling to gain traction, long before SpaceX sent its first rocket into orbit or Neuralink became a buzzword. Through it all, Michael was there, quietly watching, always ready. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below and please like the video, thank you. Michael had seen the highs and lows of Elon's life up close. He had been there when Elon faced harsh criticism for his ambitious goals, and when successes like Falcon Heavy made the world finally take him seriously. Michael had shielded Musk from physical threats, angry protesters, and even overzealous fans who sometimes forgot boundaries. He had missed birthdays, anniversaries, and countless family events, all for the singular purpose of protecting one of the most influential figures of the 21st century. He didn't mind the sacrifices, though. In a way, Michael believed in Musk's vision for the future. He admired the man's resilience and genius, even if his personality could be difficult at times. Elon wasn't the easiest person to work for. He was demanding, sometimes erratic, but Michael thought he understood him better than most. Over the years, Michael had become more than just an employee. He had become a confidant of sorts. At least, that's what he thought. So when the call came that morning, it left him completely blindsided. It wasn't even Elon on the phone. It was someone from Musk's executive team, delivering the news with the cold efficiency of an automated email. "We appreciate your years of service, Michael, but your position is no longer required. The company is making some changes to its security team." That was it. No explanation. No acknowledgement of his 15 years of loyalty. No gratitude for the countless nights he'd spent watching over Musk and his family. Just a sterile dismissal that left Michael stunned. He tried calling Elon directly. He didn't expect Musk to answer immediately. After all, he was a busy man. But after hours passed without any response, Michael began to realize that this wasn't just an oversight. This was intentional. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of emotions for Michael. Anger, betrayal, confusion. They all swirled in his mind. He replayed the past 15 years, searching for any mistake he might have made, any incident that could have justified his dismissal. He came up with nothing. Friends and family tried to console him, but their words felt hollow. How do you process being discarded so easily after dedicating so much of your life to someone else's success? It wasn't about the money. Michael had been well compensated for his work. It was about the principle, the complete lack of humanity in how he was let go. One day, about a month after his firing, Michael received an unexpected package at his doorstep. It was a sleek black box with no return address. Inside was a handwritten note on Tesla-branded stationery. "Michael, I owe you more than words can express. Your loyalty and dedication over the years have been invaluable. I am sorry for how things ended. It was not handled the way it should have been. Enclosed is something I hope will serve as a token of my gratitude and respect. Your contributions will never be forgotten. Elon." Beneath the note was a set of keys and a title deed to a property in Malibu, a sprawling beachfront home that Michael had only seen in luxury magazines. The house was in his name, fully paid for. Michael stared at the deed in disbelief. He had expected nothing from Musk after the cold dismissal, and now this? It was an extravagant gesture, but it didn't erase the hurt. He appreciated the gift, of course, but he would have traded it all for a proper goodbye, a genuine acknowledgement of his service while he was still on the job. Over time, Michael came to terms with the situation. He moved into the Malibu home and started a small security consultancy, using his years of experience to train others in the field. Occasionally, he would hear about Musk in the news, another rocket launch, another groundbreaking invention, but he no longer felt the same admiration he once did. What Michael learned from the experience was this: loyalty is a two-way street. No matter how much you give, You can't control how others will value it. Elon's gift was a recognition of sorts, but it came too late to heal the wounds caused by the way things had ended. Michael often walked along the Malibu shoreline reflecting on his years of service. He didn't regret protecting Musk. It had been an incredible chapter of his life. But he had also learned the importance of protecting himself, not just physically, but emotionally. Life moved on, as it always does. And while the story of Michael and Elon Musk would never be part of the public narrative, it remained a powerful reminder to Michael that even the most brilliant minds can sometimes forget the simplest acts of kindness. Months passed in the quiet luxury of Malibu, but Michael Keene couldn't shake the gnawing feeling of unresolved tension. The house was breathtaking, the kind of place he'd once dreamed of retiring to. The view of the Pacific Ocean from the expansive glass walls was mesmerizing, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore was soothing in a way he hadn't experienced in years. But every time Michael looked around, he couldn't help but think of how he had acquired the home and the relationship it represented. He couldn't ignore the questions that haunted him. Why had Elon handled his dismissal so poorly? What had changed after 15 years of unwavering loyalty? Was there something more to the story that he wasn't seeing? Michael tried to put it out of his mind by immersing himself in his new security consultancy. Clients began to trickle in, impressed by his resume and his reputation as the former chief bodyguard of one of the world's most influential men. He threw himself into training others, teaching them the art of vigilance, precision, and loyalty. But every time he taught a lesson about integrity in the field, the irony of his own situation came rushing back. Then one day he received an unexpected phone call. The number was blocked. Instinctively, Michael's body tensed, a habit ingrained by years of anticipating potential threats. He answered, and a familiar voice greeted him. "Michael, it's Elon." For a moment, Michael was stunned into silence. He hadn't heard Elon's voice since the abrupt end of their professional relationship. The casual tone in Elon's greeting struck him as odd, almost as if nothing had happened. "I imagine you weren't expecting this call," Elon continued, his voice calm but unusually subdued. "You're right about that," Michael replied, his tone measured. He didn't want to betray the mix of emotions bubbling inside him: anger, confusion, even a glimmer of hope. "I've been thinking about what happened," Elon said. "I owe you an explanation. Can we meet?" Michael hesitated. Part of him wanted to tell Elon he didn't owe him anything anymore. Another part, the part that had spent sleepless nights wondering what had gone wrong, couldn't resist the opportunity for closure. "All right," Michael said finally. "When and where?" Elon suggested a private meeting at a discreet location, an unassuming coffee shop tucked away in Los Angeles. When Michael arrived, dressed casually but alert as always, he found Elon already seated at a corner table, a coffee in hand. The billionaire looked more subdued than usual, his trademark confidence replaced by something that almost resembled vulnerability. "Michael," Elon said, standing to shake his hand. "Thank you for coming." Michael sat across from him, studying his former employer. "I wasn't sure I would." Elon nodded, seeming to understand. "I'll get straight to it," he said. "What happened with your dismissal? It wasn't personal. It was complicated." Michael leaned back, crossing his arms. 15 years of service and I don't even get a conversation before I'm let go? No thanks, no proper goodbye. Explain that to me, Elon. Elon took a deep breath, his eyes darting away for a moment before meeting Michael's gaze. There were pressures, external pressures, threats. People who saw you as a liability because of how close you were to me. I had to make a decision quickly and I didn't handle it well. I didn't want you caught in the crossfire. Michael's jaw tightened. A liability? I've spent years keeping you out of crossfire, Elon. You don't think I could handle myself? It wasn't about your capabilities, Elon said quickly. It was about optics. There were forces involved. People who wanted to dig into your life, your past, to use it against me. I thought I was protecting you by cutting ties. Michael stared at him, trying to process the explanation. It sounded plausible, but it didn't justify the cold manner in which it had been done. You should have talked to me, Michael said finally. You owed me that much. You're right, Elon admitted. I made a mistake. I let others dictate how I handled something that should have been personal. I regret that. There was a long pause as the two men sat in the quiet corner of the coffee shop, the hum of conversation around them a distant backdrop. I sent you the house because I didn't know how else to say thank you, Elon continued. But I realize now that money and gifts can't replace respect. You deserved more than what you got. Michael sighed, his shoulders relaxing slightly. He hadn't expected an apology, let alone such a candid admission of regret from someone like Elon Musk. I'm not sure what to say, Michael said. I spent weeks wondering what I did wrong. I gave everything to that job, Elon. Everything. I know, Elon said softly. And that's why I'm here. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted to tell you the truth. And I wanted to ask if there's any way we can move forward, if not as employer and employee, then as, as people who once worked closely together. Michael thought about it. Part of him wanted to walk away and never look back, but another part recognized the significance of the moment. Elon Musk, a man notorious for his ego and unrelenting drive, was admitting fault and seeking reconciliation. I don't know if we can go back to how things were, Michael said honestly, but I appreciate you reaching out. That means something. Elon nodded. Fair enough. If you ever need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. You were there for me for 15 years, Michael. I won't forget that. As Michael left the coffee shop, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. The conversation didn't erase the hurt, but it provided a sense of closure he hadn't thought possible. Life moved forward, but now it did so with a little less bitterness and a little more understanding. For Michael, the chapter with Elon Musk was finally closed, but the lessons it taught him would stay with him forever. Loyalty, he realized, wasn't always reciprocated in the way you expected, but that didn't mean it wasn't valued. Sometimes, even the most brilliant minds need to learn how to say goodbye properly. I sent you the house because I didn't know how else to say thank you, Elon continued. But I realize now that money and gifts can't replace respect. You deserved more than what you got. Michael sighed, his shoulders relaxing slightly. He hadn't expected an apology, let alone such a candid admission of regret from someone like Elon Musk. I'm not sure what to say, Michael said. I spent weeks wondering what I did wrong. I gave everything to that job, Elon. Everything. I know, Elon said softly. And that's why I'm here. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted to tell you the truth. And I wanted to ask if there's any way we can move forward, if not as employer and employee, then as, as people who once worked closely together. Michael thought about it. Part of him wanted to walk away and never look back, but another part recognized the significance of the moment. Elon Musk, a man notorious for his ego and unrelenting drive, was admitting fault and seeking reconciliation. I don't know if we can go back to how things were, Michael said honestly, but I appreciate you reaching out. That means something. Elon nodded. Fair enough. If you ever need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. You were there for me for 15 years, Michael. I won't forget that. As Michael left the coffee shop, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. The conversation didn't erase the hurt, but it provided a sense of closure he hadn't thought possible. Life moved forward, but now it did so with a little less bitterness and a little more understanding. For Michael, the chapter with Elon Musk was finally closed, but the lessons it taught him would stay with him forever. Loyalty, he realized, wasn't always reciprocated in the way you expected, but that didn't mean it wasn't valued. Sometimes, even the most brilliant minds need to learn how to say goodbye properly.